What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. And joining me this week is Gina Darling. Hello!
Hello. Hi, it's me. You guys might know me from such hits as Idol Champions and Idol Champions.
Well, yeah, let's see. We got Idle Champions, we got Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker, and we got Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker Idle Insights Special. So, you know.
All those words. I
Yeah.
definitely know the title by heart. I just you.
I wasn't panicking as I was listing them off either. Hi, Gina. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great because we're here today to talk about Jang Sao and all the awesome stuff with her. But before we do that, in case there are people in chat that missed those things and don't know who are you for those fine folks who may not know?
Hello. I played Jang Sao in the most recent games. Recent?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like it's been so long. It's technically
Time is a
last year.
pizza.
Yeah, right. I play Jang Sao. I am your druid, and oh god, I should pull up my sheet because it's a pretty long name. But I played Jang Sao. I was a cosmic druid that looks like a gorgeous deer traveling the cosmos, painting the skies, collecting stars, and I was playing alongside the greatest team in the whole entire world.
That was a pretty darn good team. Well, Gina, I like to start things off on the show with a fun little icebreaker question, just to get the conversation rolling. How'd you get into D&D?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is kind of crazy. I remember wanting to play like over a decade ago. Like I really want to try it. And so I hopped into a game with an ex-boyfriend at the time, but then we broke up 2 months later, so I only got one game in.
Oh, yeah.
And then so I was a host on G4TV, rest in peace. And G4TV had the world's first Dungeons and Dragons live action television show. And it was DM'd by B Dave, the greatest. And I tuned in on one of our episodes. It was an episode Iffy and Abria and our G4 cast, and I sobbed my eyes out. Like I thought we were a comedy channel.
No, you all hit the heartstrings.
Yeah.
Quite often.
Yeah.
There's one scene with that Iffy that if I think too hard about, I start getting misty-eyed.
I know exactly the scene. That was the exact scene. And I watched it. I was like, this is breathtaking. So the next day I stormed my way into the executive offices and I threatened my way onto the show, as I usually do in very Gina fashion. And I told them I want to be on the show. I just like a guest spot. I don't care. Just give me like a guest spot. They're like, okay, fine. Just put the knife down. So
Sessler's on the Zoom call. Don't cut the cord. No.
Sessler's freaking out. And then so they put me on. I fell in love with it, and then they offered me a permanent role. And I just like I dove into it head first, and I fell in love with it. It was everything that I wanted. It was improv, it was acting, it was comedy. It was so much fun. And I got to play like my first character that I created ever, like Oneira Kef. She's a Yuan-ti. And that's how I got into it. And B Dave is just the greatest teacher ever. So he, taught me everything I knew. And then that's where like I just had this undying hunger to play TTRPGs. And I tried to get in as many things as possible, like different games, not just D&D. And I did Legends of the Multiverse with the amazing Kenricks. And then I got into somehow I snuck my way into Critical Role recently. Who'd have thought? Like less than 2 years.
Someone just left the door open a little too long, and you're like,
yeah, man, like I got lured in by like a trail of dice. I'm like, this is what's going on in here? They're like, yeah, just throw her on, whatever, man. I didn't think, less than 2 years in the CTRPG world, I would get into Critical Role, and that was amazing. And then I hopped on with you guys and a bunch of like other games, and it's been such a fun ride. I actually tweeted like a week ago. It's like, all right, 2024, I need more games. Come on, people.
Hey, yeah. I love it. No,
Mhm.
it was wild. The day we did the design call for Jang Sao, when I got into that call, and it was funny because V was out that day. She's like, "Okay, Trevor, you're gonna have to run it," and I remembered way back when I was doing Champions of Lore with B Dave because he got in a call one day and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I was just helping out Gina Darling make her character." And so like to be on that, to hear that, then being in the call with you making another character, I just thought that
Mhm.
was so much fun.
No, B Dave is the person that I go to, like, because I didn't read all the books, like I don't know
There's a
everything.
lot of books.
Yeah, and I'm still, very green. So whenever I, work any show or put in a show and they, have me make a character, first person I call is B Dave. He'll sit down with me and he's just so magnificent with coming up with different ideas and stuff. And he's helped me out so much with all my characters.
He is the best. Shout out to
Mhm.
B Dave. He,
Yeah.
not that we specifically need to. I think he's still holding the title for the most returned guest on this show. People
As
know.
he should, as he should. And he'll let you know too.
Yes, he will.
He'll
He'll
make
make
sure
a
you know.
belt for it, and
Yeah.
yeah. Gina, we're here to talk about Jang Sao. So, I mean, best place to start off. Who is Jang Sao?
Hold on. My official title, I'm gonna pull up her sheet because it's so
Okay,
long.
we got.
Um
Look, chat. There's artwork that's not covering my face because Lauren is incredible.
Okay, so Jang Sao is a satyr druid, and she what is it? It was the Circle of Stars wizard. And she is a I call her a doe, but whatever, elk, deer, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and I created her because um I have a friend. She was this incredible, just brilliant artist. She was huge on DeviantArt. Her name is Chinny Art. She goes by Chinny Art. And she unfortunately passed away a few years ago due to um, chronic heart issues and cancer. And one of her artwork was this beautiful deer carrying a girl on her shoulders, and she's carrying a star lantern. And this was my homage to her. It was my most favorite artwork from her, so this is where I pulled the inspiration from, and I wanted to incorporate Chinny into it. I got permission from her brother. Shout out to him, Z, love you. And so this is how Jang Sao was created. In the game, you hear Jang Sao referring to a friend of hers that she traveled the cosmos with, and I named her Quinn, which was just an easier way to pronounce Chinny. And Chinny loved painting stars and goldfish. So you'll see in the game, Jang Sao has a star or a goldfish companion that was based off of Chinny's work also. So this was, a huge love letter to Chinny. And I gotta say, the team behind Idol really, really took it and really just put their heart into it, and they told me how much it meant to them to make this just perfect for me and Chinny. So this is where Jang Sao was born, and in Vietnamese, Jang Sao, pronounced Jang Sao, means moon and stars. So I really wanted to incorporate that into my character also, and I've done this with a few characters in the past too, to incorporate my Vietnamese culture into all of my characters and show them some love also.
I love that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I remember you showing the image to us for the first time, and like everyone just kind of having this collective like gasp when they saw it of like, oh, that's just stunning.
Yeah, yeah. Her
And
work
an
was
incredible
beautiful.
place of inspiration. So there's there's a lot of mystery like around her. Like I do like the way that in Idol Champions Presents, like you gave these hints of things, and obviously B Dave pulling in Quinn as well. Do you have like do you kind of leave that mystery in your head for yourself as well, or have you thought about what like where originally they came from or anything like that?
It was I wanted to leave it pretty vague. They just came from a magical place in the stars because,
I love that.
I don't, Chinny is up there somewhere, and so I just wanted to make Jang Sao and Quinn just up there somewhere with her. So the lore is just they've traveled the cosmos together for, I would say, millennia, collecting stars to make paint pigments and painting new constellations that you see every night. You know, at the end, we painted the constellations for every character that was in the show, and you know, that's, you know,
Mm,
when Jeannie passed away, I remember telling her, you know, I remember that night the skies were very clear and the stars were out, and I said, you know, thank you for painting the stars tonight. It looks beautiful.
that's
So
gorgeous.
so I kind of left it, you know, very up in the air so people, you know, kind of just feel like she's all around us all the time.
I love that. That there's something about that with a character, especially one that means what this character does, that makes that mystery so much more special. Because I know like in a lot of like nerd culture, there's a lot of like we have to know the answer to everything.
Right.
Why was there a vent in the Death Star? But I do really appreciate those times where there is just a mystery about it, where we don't know the answer to something. It's just mystical because it is.
Yeah, she's just this unknown mystical celestial being.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and you were talking about the team working on it. I mean, getting to see the art team, the care that they took, just like the way talking about the designs for it. Because I know Kat, who worked on the character model and everything, like they were coming up with things and be like, oh, does this fit the aesthetic that Gina wanted and everything
Hmm.
like that. And even down to the equipment. I mean, we got some pretty stunning art in there of celestial things. That was also kind of a cool thing for me getting to write. I'm like, I don't get to write about celestial objects in this game a lot.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, you did an amazing job. Everyone did such a great job. There were so many times when they sent the art concept back to me and they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, beautiful, no notes. Like I just, you know, like
Yeah.
they knocked it out of the park, but I was like, I should be a professional and, you know, and like make it sound like I really put some work into this, you know, but like it was very difficult because every time they sent something back, I'm like, this is great, this is perfect, you know, and I really had to at this point I'm just making up stuff to change, you know. Like, I just gotta feel like I did something, but it was like the team really put their heart into it, and it made me feel so grateful and very loved, and it made me feel like they really cared about her story.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, especially like even in the kickoff where like it was driven home like this character has this meaning to Gina. So like it was from the get-go talked about with care. So
Yeah.
I did get a reminder from my producer that it might be a good idea to tell everyone, hey, we're live. I didn't say that at the beginning of the show because, again, this is actually my first show back in 2024, so I might
Mm,
be a little rusty at things.
yeah.
But we're live. If you want to ask Gina a question, you can put in the chat with question, colon, and then your question, and we'll get to those at the end of the episode. And we'll also be doing a giveaway about 15 minutes or so. You gotta listen in for that. Our awesome mod will put a code word in there, and then you can enter for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice, excluding Bahamut chests. And we'll get to that after a bit. But Gina, I know we did the after show with for Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker. Again, I lost the words in there. But I did want to ask you, like how was that experience? How did you feel the group and the story came together? Like, was it what you were hoping for?
You know, I have never played a game that I disliked. Uh, and
That's fantastic.
yeah, I've been very lucky, and I've never played with a group that I've disliked. Well, because honestly, listen, Trevor, I am ruined. I am ruined. Like my first DM ever was B Dave,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I get Todd, I get Brennan, I get and then I get like cameos from Zub and Mercer, and then I get Abria. Like I am ruined. I remember, and then I also had like Iffy in our homebrew
Yeah.
games. And I remember I went to a game shop once and they were, you know, they were just like people playing, you know? And so I was like, "Ooh." Um I sat there and I listened to them for a little bit. And after about like 5 minutes, I was like, we're not gonna do any voices. No like accents, no, not a smidgen, no sound effects.
Not a smidgen.
Just a crumb, please, sir. Just a crumb of an accent, please. You know.
Yeah.
So I've never played a game that I didn't like. I am ruined. I am spoiled, and that includes Fate Breaker. I mean, I like one, it's B-Dave, of course, and
Yeah.
it's two, it's people that I've played with before, you know. And I'm just amongst a bunch of friends, and then I made new friends.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Mark just switch between like 1,600 different
It's
characters,
wild.
insane. Just insane. And not even just like the voice, but his whole demeanor, the whole atmosphere that he changes just in
Oh
his
yeah.
screen. Crazy, you know? Like everyone was so incredible, and it was so fun, but it was difficult the first. Y'all, I've been through it with the whole Fate Breaker thing, all right? Because the first episode, I was in Korea.
Oh, that's right. It
I
was
was
like 3 a.m. or something for you.
Yeah. I was in Korea, and I had to wake up at midnight and get on at 1:30 a.m. and then we finished at 5 a.m. Korea time, and this was the night before I was supposed to fly home.
Oh my god.
So I was actually supposed to fly home the night before, but I told, the people that hired me to come out to Korea, like, look, I cannot miss this. So if I have to stay an extra night, then I will. So I had to stay an
Mhm.
extra night while the crew went home. And then, stayed up till 5, flew out at 11 in the morning. I was dead tired.
Wow.
And then I missed a couple episodes because one, I was so sick that I hopped into a call with V the the morning of, and my voice was shot.
Mm.
I couldn't speak. And then the week after that, I had a terrible back injury.
Oh, that's
Who knows
right.
what a back spasm is?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Not fun. Not
Oh
fun.
my God.
Not
Like,
great.
I have never been incapacitated like that, like against my will, you know? It was wild. So I couldn't even sit. So I had to miss a couple episodes. It was a wild ride, and the feeling of FOMO was insane. But for the episodes I was there for
Mhm.
and conscious for, was so much fun. I mean, it's always a wild ride whenever B-Dave's involved, and it's always so much, and of course with Megan too, because Megan and I are two peas in a pod, you know. So it was just so much fun, and I like I miss it. I miss it so much, you know. And I hope we get to do it again soon.
That is always my like it makes me sad because people aren't getting to play D&D with the people they want. But it does warm my heart like after almost every Idol Champions presents. I hear people was like, well, maybe we could do a home game. It's just an
Yeah.
off stream game. Like I remember there was a big conversation about that after like Hunger of the Far Realm, with Anna, Holly, and the Rivals group. Like they were like, oh well, maybe we could just meet up like once a month or something like that.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
yeah, I love that we get to do this like short form thing with a lot of incredible creators and players. But it's also sad because like it's like it's not that many episodes.
Yeah.
It's just enough to get attached.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And that's and that is the problem that I always run into with every show that I do, because like Candela that I did with Critical Role is only
Mhm.
3 episodes, you know.
Mm.
We only did a handful of episodes also. Like everything is just like I remember I was on TikTok yesterday, and this guy was talking about his 30-year campaign.
Oh yeah.
You saw
Hmm.
him, right?
Yeah.
A 30-year campaign that he also, on their 30th anniversary, they rented out a hotel that's in a cave to play it.
Oh my god, I didn't see that. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean 30 years? I get like 30 hours tops, you know? And I'm just so jealous. Like that's a heartbreaking thing about, doing shows like this. Like you only get a handful, and then afterwards, like it's that post-production blues that really gets to you.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I am lucky that I've had a home game going for as long as I have. But I mean, like I will say, because like you even heard it, that that shop and stuff like that. Like home games are definitely different. Like my group, we're not doing a lot of voice. Like I'm on a show and I'm getting into character and everything like that. But at home, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just talking like this. Like, yeah, my Astral Elf Ranger, she's just gonna go over there and stab it. Like, it's a very different vibe sometimes. But like at the same time though, I do love it for the times where someone does just out of nowhere get into character.
Yeah.
Because then you're just caught off guard, like, oh, it's here.
Yeah. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. It really inspired me to even get into voice acting, you know? Like,
oh, really?
yeah. So I just recorded for my first game. I just did VA for a first game. I can't talk about it yet.
Oh yeah. No, we know the NDA life here. We know that. Yeah. But that's fantastic. Congrats.
Thank you. So it's such a treat seeing people get into character. We started a homebrew game with Iffy, and then I would like to extend and officially apologize to Iffy right now that I had to pull out because I have a Wednesday show now. I'm so sorry. You know, like it's so hard. And
yeah. No. The biggest final boss of D&D is scheduling.
Yeah. Truly. But you know, my dream is to have like an ongoing game in person, you know?
Oh God. Yeah. I was telling Lauren before you got into the call that it's coming up on 4 years since I've had an in-person game. And like I've been buying all of these minis and maps. I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. Like Orcus and the Demogorgon have just become table decoration for my desk.
Oh my goodness. So I got my first figurine.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So one of my viewers on my stream, shout out to my stream if you guys want to follow me. One of my viewers on my stream knows that my most favorite monster, and that's because of B-Dave, is the Beholder.
The Xanathar?
Xanathar. So one of my viewers painted me a Xanathar.
Oh my God, I love him.
Right? And I requested a heart in one of his eyes, so there it is.
Yes.
Yeah, my little dum Xanathar.
Hey, the Xanathar.
Oh, great and mighty Xanathar. So he kills here.
You know what's really great? Aaron M. Evans wrote the game before I did, and we did the show with B-Dave, and God, it's like 3 episodes in that B-Dave did his Xanathar voice and just caught Aaron and I off guard. And without talking to each other between the transition, both of us write the Xanathar with B-Dave's voice in our head.
Oh my God, amazing.
Because it's perfect.
It's so perfect. I remember on Invitation to Party, he brought out the Xanathar, and before we started filming, he asked for a rolling stool. We didn't know why. And when we saw why, I was in tears. It was so funny. He's my most favorite character ever.
There was a moment the first episode, like towards the very beginning of it, because he's like, "You're in water deep," and I went, "Oh no, he's gonna bring in the Xanathar. He's gonna do his voice. I know he's gonna do it."
It's so good, and bless him, he always tries to bring back the Xanathar for me with every game that we play, because we've had the Xanathar and all my characters throughout every universe have had an ongoing feud, like an ongoing beef.
Multiversal feud.
Multiversal feud. Like, this is crazier than the Avengers, okay? Like, Avengers who? No, it's Gina Darling and her obsession with stealing Silgar. That's my jam. Like, every single time the Xanathar comes, he's been chasing me throughout all the universes trying to get Silgar.
Oh man, I'm not gonna give spoilers or go into it that far, because we're here talking about Jigsaw, but I'm on a streaming show and the Xanathar came up. And we're in like an alternate world, and Erin is DMing the game. She went to B-Dave without telling anyone and was like, "I want your help figuring out how to make this ridiculous." And they like that episode was like focused on my character, and I thought I knew what I was walking into. I was expecting things, and just completely blew me away with everything. And then finding out that B-Dave hadn't handed it, I'm just like, of course he did.
Of course he did. Of course. B-Dave is a walking 7'9", 7'8" just tower of destruction, chaos, and comedy. I love him so much.
It's the best.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask you, going back to Isle Champions Presents and the group you were with, more specifically, what did Jang Sao think of her companions in that?
I went into it. So Jing Sao, she has been kind of removed from society for God knows how long. She's, you know, so when she kind of had to acclimate herself to dealing with people again, because it's always been her and Quinn,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's being thrown into a group of like a centaur, a gorgeous, like Nora's gorgeous face, this this man who seems to be talking to himself, and and then Megan's like just her voice that she does, like
Incredible voice. Just every time she breaks it out, I've heard it so many times, and every time I'm still just like, God, it's incredible.
and so when Jang Sao first, came down from the cosmos, she's like, oh well, there's a lot of people here now, and she's a lot more laid back and chill, and it's a very leveled person. But to deal with this chaos, it took her a little bit to get used to it, and to get to know everyone and kind of understand everyone and see and understand all their weird quirks, and if how centaurs wear their pants, and it was a lot to take in. But I would say that Jang Sao grew to really love them, and grew to really appreciate having more people by her side, and getting to know more people and making new friends. She's been up there with Quinn for so long that it was nice to like um bring more friends into her life, and she knows that Quinn's always watching over her, and she was excited to have moments to herself to kind of gush to Quinn about, look at all these new friends that I made, and they're a little bit strange and they may smell a little bit odd, but they're good, they're still good people. So she had a great time, and I will say that she does miss them, and she thinks of them fondly when she was painting the constellations after them.
Love that.
Mhm.
It was really great watching you in the first episode as Jing Sao like have that, that like, I don't know what's going on here, I'm just gonna be over here, and then it kind of like slowly going into like like when Riddle shows up, and he's just like, well, now I have questions.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, and I don't know if I want the answers to them. It's very difficult because Jing Sao decided to make her completely opposite of what I usually play. I usually play loud, pretty crass, kind of crazy character. Like my previous character was a freaking Kender, you know? And then the one before that was my Yanti. She's like the cool auntie that has money that nobody knows where it comes from.
Yeah.
But Jang Sao decided to play her a little bit more laid back and chill, and she speaks, in kind of like a flat line and very softly. But it and oh and yeah, and I was talking to B Dave. I was like, I want to try something different. He's like, this is the total opposite of everything that you are. Are you sure you can do this? I'm like, I'm going to try. I wanted to challenge myself. So it was very hard to fight back on all the little quips that I wanted to make, and
Oh yeah.
my character. But it was something that I really, really wanted to try to do.
I totally understand what you mean. I've done a few characters that is very opposite of me, and I'm like, oh, but there's so many good jokes that could be done here. I can't do it.
Right? Like it was so difficult. So when B-Dave brought back Boxy, sorry,
Oh
Boxy,
yeah.
my Kender in the game, it was so nice to break free and just be, the little chaos gremlin that Boxy is. So it was really fun to be able to play her again.
I did love those moments that that B Dave was just like, hey, I've surprised you with this, but I want you to play them real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved that. That was so good.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
uh I just got a message that we're ready to do the giveaway in chat. So if
Yay.
you're looking at a different tab, come back to this one. It's time to put a keyword in there. Our awesome mod Gabe will put the keyword into chat. Just repeat that in there as it is. You'll be entered for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice, excluding Bahamut chests, and we'll have some fun times. You can get a bunch of starry chests for Jang Sao if you want. So you mentioned Boxy there, and you know we've talked about some other games he did. I want to talk about Legends of the Multiverse and like what a wild ride that was. How was that game?
My God, Jesus, it was, my goodness. I don't even know the right word to describe. Disastrous. It was disastrous, and it was so much fun. Because like this is the first time playing a Kender. And so I remember when we first played that, when we first started talking about it, I was talking to B Dave. I was like, I don't know what character I want to play. Like, what's a really fun character? And he named a few, and then he goes, but let me suggest something. I'm gonna suggest a Kender to you. I'm like, okay. And the more he described it, the wider my eyes got, and I was like, I have never heard of a character that described me so well, and I fell in love with her, and I had so much fun with her, and like seeing her artwork for the first time was mind-blowing, and it was just crazy. I mean, Todd is a fantastic DM. This is when I was first introduced to Todd and and Megan and I hit it off right off the bat, like peas in a pod. And it was just chaotic all around. And we were switching DMs, you know, every couple of weeks. So I got to see, you know, how everyone played, and the shenanigans that we got into. We went to a world of Kenders. It was awesome. We were stealing everything, you know. It was such a wild ride. And it's like it's one, like it's given me some of my most favorite memories in this whole TTRPG world. And till this day, I gotta say, like, Boxy is probably one of my most favorite characters that I ever get to play, and I would love to bring her back into like anything, because with her, I decided to challenge myself. I made riddle or nursery rhymes and riddles for every character's name.
Oh.
And I would do it on the fly. So that's
Oh,
what
wow.
I did. Yeah. So that's what I did, you know, for Fate Breaker when they introduced her. I would like while we were playing, I was typing out her nursery rhyme on the side. And that was just such a challenge, but I had so much fun with it. So much fun. And then Todd surprised us with Boo. Matt Mercer came in and he brought in Jim also. That was
wild.
Yeah, it was a huge surprise. He was sitting there with whiskers, and I was like, what the hell was that? And I remember I messaged you know, B Dave on the chat, and I'm like, is that Mercer? He's like, yep.
He told me that day, he's like, you're gonna want to tune in for today's episode. And
Yeah.
I tuned in late, so I turn on the stream and there's Matt and Jim. And I just fell over laughing. Oh my gosh.
It was so good. Oh,
because like not only do you got Mercer there with like just the best makeup of all time, but then you've got Jim doing his Minsk voice, which is just so good.
So good. And you know, like I said, this is very early into me getting into D&D. So I just learned about these people like a few weeks ago, you know, and I'm like, what do you mean there's a space hamster? What are you talking? Are you drunk? You know? And then I meet the space hamster.
Yep.
It was such an incredible experience.
I love that. You mentioned the changing up DMs and everything. I wanted to ask how that was. Like, was there like any kind of nerves with like, oh, I don't know how this person's gonna be or anything like that?
Smooth as butter. I mean,
That's
these people
good.
are so good at what they do.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I like it was just a very seamless transition. And we started off, I believe, with Brennan first. And then I believe Todd, and then B Dave.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Just seamless. It was great. They picked up off exactly where everyone else left off. It was wonderful.
I love that. I remember Brennan just kind of coming in like a storm, just like, we're doing this. Yeah. It was actually that one episode was what got me to finally check out Dimension 20 and
Oh.
sit through and watch all of those. I'm like, okay, I've been missing out on everything. I understand why people love this so much now. Let me check real quick. We got a few questions, but I do want to hit one more before we do this. I want to talk about the Candela Obscura one, mainly because I've had the RPG book sitting here next to me for a few
Yeah.
weeks. How
Yeah.
was that?
So I get the call from Critical Role, which I'm like, oh crap, okay, that was. Oh man, you guys know I'm pretty new to this, right? So oh gosh, Jesus Christ, and I'll tell this story 1,000 times. I embarrassed myself hard. Okay.
What?
So before Candela, they actually brought me in for a one shot. It was a Mortal Kombat one shot. It was
Oh.
me, Marisha, Travis, Nashir, and Sam. And this is my first time meeting them. And you know, so the Mortal Kombat one shot leaned heavily into comedy, which I sit very comfortably in, and I
Yeah.
played Katana. Here's the thing, Trevor. I am not good at research. And I've done this many times before and I never learned my lesson, but we did the one shot. And then after, we finished, one of my girls that actually works at Critical Role texted me. She's like, "How did it go? Did you put in a good word to my boss?" And I was like, "Who's your boss?" And she goes, "Travis, the one sitting next to you, Gina. He's the CEO." And I was like, "I'm sorry? What do you mean?" Because Gina Darling goes into projects with just no knowledge of anything. Like, here, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to be like make everyone else have
Yeah.
fun, Um, so she's like, "Gina, it was Travis who was sitting right next to you." So now I'm on the way home. I'm like, did I say anything stupid? Oh my god. Oh my god, did I do anything stupid? And this happened at G4 also. When G4 first launched and we all had like a company-wide dinner, I was sitting next to this guy. We're talking about our cats. I'm like, "Would you like a shot?" Having the greatest time ever. He goes to the bathroom. I turn to our talent manager. I'm like, "Who is that guy?" She's like, "Gina, that's the president." All right, cool, man. Like, oh my god, Trevor. All the time. So
As a
we
fellow
filmed.
neurodivergent person, though, I fully understand because there's part of me I understand it because there's part of me that's like I probably should look up who these people are, but I also don't want to because then I'm gonna freak out the whole time.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the possibility of possibly messing up instead of knowing I'm gonna.
So I remember the only thing I looked up about Travis was he's the voice of General Mustang in one of my
Full
favorite
Metal.
animes, Full
Yeah.
Metal. And the first thing I said to him was like, "I got a bone to pick with you." I got a bone. I know I just met you, but how dare you make me cry on a Tuesday afternoon? What do you mean it's a terrible day for rain? It's not raining. Shut up.
Gina, here's the thing. I respect you for saying it. I respect you for saying it.
And then to find out he's the CEO. And here's the thing, Trevor, that's not the last time it happened in that damn building, okay? My God. So we do Candela.
Yeah.
And Candela, I'll be honest with you. I had a bit of a struggle because Candela, they literally said no goofs. This is a very dark, serious show. And I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be rough, what do you mean no goofs? Like that's so it was like I'm learning a whole new system. And we, it was I had kind of a tough time trying to figure out, my way through the game, and we only had 3 episodes to do it. That was so hard. Because you want to give out as much information, but you want to,
Yeah.
and like you want to jump into fights because it's only 3 episodes, but also you don't want to get, knocked out. It was rough. But and also to be playing with some brilliant people like these, because between episodes or like during lunch, Sam and Liam, they're not just, having lunch. They're sitting there like, oh, we're writing for this show. We're planning on this. Like they're writing.
Wow.
They are workhorses,
Mm.
and Critical Role runs like a well-oiled machine. And then we also had Ashley Birch, who again did not do any research until day 2 when I was like, I should look her up and see, or actually no, I went to my podcast co-host Ovely, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm working with Ashley Birch, and Ovely screamed, and till this day I still have tinnitus. She's like, Ashley, and she sat me down on my couch and gave me the whole spiel of lore, like, hey Ash, what you playing? And then so I looked up Ash and I realized Ash is the voice actor for one of the characters that pretty much molded a lot of my characters, which was Tiny Tina.
Yep.
My career in gaming started with Machinima because of Borderlands. So she played a huge role, in that. And I was like, oh crap, it's Tiny Tina. And you would think that's the last time I did that, Trevor. Oh no. Oh no, Trevor. Oh no, Trevor. Lunchtime, episode 2. I'm outside really quick getting some fresh air, and Liam steps out. All right. And me being neurodivergent, ADHD, absolute idiot, I asked him, so have you been with like Critical Role long?
I love it, Gina. I love it.
And he goes, yeah, I'm the original 9. I'm like, come on. Oh!
It happens. It happens.
So, it
makes a fun story.
Yeah. I would not be shocked if these people never call me back, dude. Like, come on, man. So, and then so, now we're filming Candela. Candela is a very it's a information heavy game. Bria GM'd it. Incredible. I love her so much. But it's a very serious game.
Mm-hmm.
And there are moments where I'm like, I didn't know we can do that, and I built my character sheet a little bit wrong for my abilities, so it was a struggle. But it was also such an incredible learning experience, watching all these brilliant minds work and just being thrown into that atmosphere. I personally thought I could have done better, but the feedback was great from everyone that was watching.
That's great.
That's thank you so much. Thank you. But Critical Role is such a fun group to work with, and my God, do they work. I mean, everyone down to production and makeup artist and wardrobe.
Oh yeah, y'all's wardrobe was incredible.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I remember they told me we had a wardrobe stylist. I'm like, what's the budget? Because I'm about to go nuts. It's very rare for productions, like this, to have a full wardrobe stylist, and Jen knocked it out of the park. 3 makeup artists, and this was one of the, working in this, entertainment for so long. It's not, I wouldn't say it's very rare, but more often than not, productions are always running late. Not Critical Role.
On time, yeah.
On time.
They are timely people.
My God, like, they deserve all the flowers and all the praise. They are incredible. So it was such an honor to be able to work with them. Hey, call me back. I promise I did research.
Hey,
I know who everyone is now.
See, I like what Lauren put in the chat. When you were saying like they're never gonna call you back. You say or they appreciated you for being you and having fun. So I think that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I do want to say that, like, I gotta commend you on you've been in the TTRPG area for like 2 years, but you've challenged yourself in games, I think, more than anyone in such a short amount of time. Like, I really do gotta commend it, because like, if I cannot imagine myself, even if it wasn't a stream game, I can't imagine myself 2 years into playing D&D or anything, of getting into a group and being like, okay, this is a serious, like, dark, gritty game. I can't do it. I got set back. I can't do it.
Right? Oh man, it was dark and gritty and serious and out of my comfort zone, but also my rolls were trash.
Oh, I feel you on that. That is, I rolled 3 natural ones in a row at my home game on Tuesday.
Oh my God.
I feel you.
Oh geez. Like, out of all games that I needed the RNGs to work with me here, It was not. It was not my time there, dude. It was
RNGs just
so
don't know me. You don't know
no
who I am. No, no.
awful. I'm praying to the wrong gods, man. I gotta pick a god and just stick with it, dude. Like, oh man. Um,
Okay, real quick, I want because we're getting towards the end of the show here. I want to get a couple of questions from the chat. We start off with Star Chaser 43, who says, "Gina, you said earlier in the show that you need more shows in 2024. Any games in specific you'd like to play?"
nope, all of them.
All of them. I love
All
it.
of them. Yeah, like I said, I'm really new to this. I don't even know the games that are out there. I don't even know all those, you know? I am down to play all of them. I do always lean towards D&D because I'm most comfortable and that's all, that's the one that I learned the most. But I am open to all of them because I want to learn all of them.
See, I cannot recommend the hobby that I have, which is buying all of the TTRPGs and never getting to play them, but you read through them with hopes and dreams. Like
That's my
why I have Candela Obscura.
Yeah. That's my Steam library, man. Like, I get it, dude. I get it.
Oh, I love it. Let's see. Cassius335 says, how is Candela Obscura to play? Well, we did go over that. And is there anyone you've stream gamed with you'd love to see on Critical Role's show sometime?
Oh, who have I streamed with that I would love to be on Critical Role? I know there's someone that pops into my head. My goodness, there's so many. There's so many, and that's
the thing. It's like I want everyone to like,
like
I'm even going through who I've seen you play with, and I'm like, no, I'd love to see Iffy. I'd love to see Fiona. I'd love to see Megan.
You know what? I would love to see everyone that I played with, but here's also a thing: I don't know who's been on it or not because I haven't watched everything. Because there's like it's like a One Piece series. There's like 6,000 episodes. I don't know who's been on it. So off the top of my head, if they haven't been on it yet, I would love to see. Oh my god, I would love to see Kasim G.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I would love to see him on just to see the silly stuff that he would do. I would love to see. I don't know if he's been on it. If he's fantastic. Like Megan would be great if I get to play alongside her because I just have so much fun with her. Everyone, honestly.
I love it. Let's see. Lurking Writer says,
wait, I know who.
Oh.
He was in Legends of the Multiverse for a bit. I don't know if he's ever been on Critical. God, what Pro ZD.
Oh, yeah. I
would love to see him on.
I don't know if he has been. I this thing, my track record with also knowing, like, I've gone through videos and be like, wait a minute, I know that person. That was me with Dimension 22. I'm like, what other shows do they? That's B-Dave.
I remember Multiverse with Pro ZD. That guy has a very special talent of not saying much, but when he does say like 4 words, it puts me in tears laughing. He's just so funny. I would love, and he has a wonderful voice too. So he would be great.
Lurking Writer has 2 questions, but I'm gonna
I love
summarize.
Lurking. I love Lurking. He's always so sweet in chat.
Oh yeah, Lurking Writer's best. Shout out to Lurking Writer. One of the questions was, you have an almighty Xanathar figure. I couldn't say words. And now do you also have a Silgar one? That's the next one you need. You gotta get a little Silgar.
I do need a Silgar. You don't even know, like in Lethal Company, one of the first things I buy is a goldfish.
Yes.
Yeah, like I need my goldfish. Yeah.
All right, last one before we get out of here is Lurking Writer says, have you had a chance to play Jang Sao outside of Fatebreaker? And if not, where would you think she would like to show up next in her travels?
I have not been able to play her outside of Fatebreaker. I would love to I would love to have something that takes place in the astral plane, like in her home, you know? I think she would be great there. So yeah, probably the astral plane.
Nice. I think that would be cool as heck. Yeah. Just flying around some kind of spell jammer and stuff.
Yeah, like going into her home, like MTV Cribs, like, hey, welcome. Like painted that one, painted that centaur.
You see this whole structure here? Pants. I painted it.
That's
me. No big deal.
Yeah. So the centaur, the pants are on. Fun fact, that's actually how they're supposed to wear it. I did the research right there. Interviewed a centaur myself. She's great.
Lambo out front. I didn't paint that, but I bought it. But it was real cool. Well, Gina, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me today. This was an absolute blast. If people wanted to find you and what you do on the interwebs, where could they do so?
Yes. You know what? I'll type in the chat right now. I'll say hello. That is my stream. Please follow me on my Twitch. I stream 4 days a week at Miss Gina Darling, MISSGINA Darling, and that's across all platforms. I am active on all platforms at Miss Gina Darling. Crossing fingers. Freddie Prinze Jr. has a game that he made that we've been filming that we play. And
What?
yeah, so over COVID, he has made his own game. It's a TTRPG game with some AEW wrestlers that you may know, actors that you may know, and it is a very cyberpunk futuristic setting with street racing. It's called Asphalt and Augments. Listen, man, crossing fingers, it gets released soon. We're having so much fun filming that, so please keep an eye out on that on all my socials. I will be announcing when it does happen. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you
Yeah.
guys so much in chat for supporting us and supporting Idol and Fatebreaker and joining us for all those shows. We had a lot of fun playing for you guys, and we absolutely adore you guys. And thank you guys for having me in the
Happy to
game. I
have you.
had so much fun. Yeah.
Well, I can't say anything better than that. So yeah, thank you, Gina. That's gonna do it for this week's episode of Idle Insights. So until next week, take care of yourself.
Love you. Drink water. Bye.
Please drink water.